All right, so get this. Today we're going to dive deep right into VMware Cloud Foundation.
Yeah.
We're talking pulling out all the really important stuff you need from this video, explaining the 2V0-11.24 exam.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, in exam prep, maybe not the most thrilling thing in the world, BUT, trust me on this.
Okay.
There's some seriously cool stuff in here about how, all those data centers we rely on actually work.
The behind-the-scenes magic.
Exactly. And even if you're not planning to take the exam itself,
Right.
this deep dive will give you a super fast track to understanding how all this enterprise cloud stuff really works.
Like a cheat sheet for the data center.
Totally. So this video, it throws out some sample questions, right? And we're going to unpack those
I like it.
to get to the good stuff underneath. So first, like always, the basics.
Got to start somewhere.
The 2V0-11.24 exam, 70 questions, 135 minutes to do it all.
TikTok.
And it's all about proving you know how to run VMware Cloud Foundation.
Now that's where things get interesting. VMware Cloud Foundation, it's basically the foundation for the whole virtualized data center.
Oh, hold on. I'm imagining.
You got hundreds, maybe even thousands of servers, apps, virtual machines.
My brain's melting already.
And VMware Cloud Foundation is what makes sure all of that works together smoothly.
Okay, so it's like the conductor of this whole digital orchestra.
That's a great way to put it.
So jumping right in. First question from the video, quote, what components are absolutely essential to deploy a VI workload domain?
Essential, you say?
Got any guesses?
Well, the two big names that spring to mind are vCenter Server and SDDC Manager.
Okay, so vCenter Server, SDDC Manager.
Yeah.
Why are these guys so vital? What happens if one of them goes missing?
Ooh, good question. So imagine trying to manage a city full of those self-driving cars, but without any central traffic control.
Uh-oh.
That's vCenter Server missing. It's the brain keeping track of all the virtual machines, giving them resources, making sure everything's running smoothly.
Right.
Now imagine trying to build, I don't know, a skyscraper, but you don't have an architect, no blueprints.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess.
Total chaos. That's what trying to set up a data center without SDDC Manager would be like.
So it basically automates all that complex setup.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about all the nitty-gritty details. SDDC Manager handles it.
Wow, so they're not just sidekicks. They're the main heroes here.
Definitely the leading roles.
But setting everything up, that's just the beginning, right? The second question in the video, it goes into what happens after that initial setup.
Day 2 operations, as they call it.
Yeah, day 2 operations. Kind of the unsung heroes of the whole data center world.
It's all about keeping things running smoothly, and the exam really digs into this, especially the security and disaster preparedness aspect.
So not just keeping the lights on, but keeping everything safe too.
Exactly. You want to make sure you can handle anything that comes your way.
What kind of stuff are we talking about specifically here?
Okay, imagine you're on a website and you get that warning, hey, this security certificate is out of date.
Oh, yeah, I hate that.
You'd probably be a little hesitant to put in your credit card details, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it's the same for data centers, just on a much larger scale. So the first answer here, it emphasizes that you got to regularly rotate and replace those SSL certificates.
It's like changing the locks on your digital doors, right?
Exactly. You want to make sure that only the right people have access to the important information.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the second answer? What's the deep dive there?
This is where it gets interesting. It stresses the importance of having a really solid backup and disaster recovery plan in place.
Oh, right. If everything hits the fan.
Exactly. What if a server crashes or there's a natural disaster or even worse, a cyber attack?
I don't even want to think about it.
Without a plan to get your data back and get everything up and running again, you're talking about a lot of downtime, potentially losing important data, and a whole lot of stress.
Yeah, no thanks.
So it's like an insurance policy for your whole data center.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's say your business is doing amazing, growing like crazy, and you need more power.
More power.
Question 3 in the video tackles exactly that. Scaling up your VMware Cloud Foundation.
Ah, the joys of growth.
What are the options when you hit those growth spurts, huh?
Well, the video lays out 2 main ways to scale. The first one is you can add more hosts to a cluster that already exists.
So if one server is getting overwhelmed, you can share the load across multiple machines.
Exactly. It's like giving your infrastructure a team of helpers to tackle the workload.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And the second method is you can deploy a whole new workload domain.
Whoa, hold on. That sounds like a big jump.
It is. It's like building a whole new wing of your data center.
Okay, so you can either supercharge your existing setup or create a brand new space.
Yeah, kind of like choosing between upgrading your car or getting a whole second car to handle all your errands.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But let's be real, scaling up can get pretty complicated, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's where VMware introduces this other tool, the Area Suite Lifecycle.
Right. VMware Area Suite Lifecycle steps in to manage the entire lifecycle of your IT infrastructure.
From start to finish.
Exactly. Planning, deployment, ongoing operations, optimization, the whole 9 yards. It's like having this master control panel for your entire VMware environment.
That's a lot of control.
It is. But there's a catch.
Yeah.
Before you can start playing with this fancy new toy, you need to have some things in place first.
Ah, the prerequisites.
Mhm.
Question 4 in the video, it focuses on those must-haves before you can even think about deploying VMware Area Suite Lifecycle.
Yeah, very important.
So what are the potential pitfalls here? What do we need to be careful about?
Well, two key answers highlight the importance of being prepared, you know?
Yeah.
First, you got to have network and storage already allocated.
So you can't just assume it'll magically work without having the basics ready.
Nope, not at all. It's like trying to build a house, but you don't have enough bricks or a foundation.
Yeah, it's not going to end well.
Exactly. And the second prerequisite, it really emphasizes having really robust backup and recovery plans.
Especially for something as critical as this Area Suite thing, right?
Absolutely. Imagine this system crashes and you have no way to restore it quickly. That could bring your whole IT environment to a screeching halt.
Okay, so before you even think about deploying VMware Area Suite Lifecycle, you got to have the resources it needs and a solid plan to protect it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, so enough about Area for now. Let's get back to the foundation of all of this. VSAN storage.
Ah, yes, VSAN. It's like the bedrock of a lot of modern data centers.
What exactly is VSAN? Like, in simple terms.
Well, it's VMware's software-defined storage solution, and it's all about making storage more efficient, flexible, and scalable.
So it's kind of like virtualizing your storage, right?
Yeah.
Just like you virtualize your servers.
Exactly. You're pooling all your storage resources together and managing them through software. It gives you a ton of flexibility and control.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. But I bet there are some things that people often miss when they're setting up this vSAN storage.
Oh, there are always little details that can trip people up.
The video's last question for this section. It highlights one of those really important configurations.
It asks, what configuration step is absolutely essential when you're setting up vSAN storage in VMware Cloud Foundation?
Ooh, I'm curious.
And the answer might surprise you. You absolutely have to define and apply a vSAN storage policy.
So it's not just about plugging in a bunch of hard drives and calling it a day. There's more to it than that.
Much more. A vSAN storage policy is like a set of instructions that tells vSAN how to handle your data.
What kind of instructions are we talking about?
For example, you can set a policy that says, like, this data is super important. It needs to be copied across multiple hosts so we don't lose it.
Right. Redundancy.
Exactly. Or you can say that some data needs to be stored on faster, more expensive storage for better performance, while other data can be stored on slower, cheaper storage.
So it's about, like, customizing your storage strategy to fit what your applications and data actually need.
Exactly. It's about making sure you're getting the most out of your storage resources and that each piece of data is being stored and managed in the best way possible.
Makes sense. And I bet if you don't define these policies, it can lead to some headaches down the road.
Oh, for sure. Think performance issues, data loss, even compliance problems. It's a small step in the configuration process, but it has huge implications for how well your vSAN environment works.
So stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into VMware Cloud Foundation.